Hi, and welcome to another edition of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Probably the last video I'm going to do on this particular subject. I think now that FIFA and UEFA have finally sort of thrown Russia out, I think it's probably time to draw a veil over this particular aspect of what's going on in the world at the moment. But there is one little issue that I would like just to finalise on. And I mentioned about FIFA and UEFA taking like a week to come to the decision that should have been taken on day one. And why it wasn't was a bit of a mystery. It's the sort of thing you'd think would be a no-brainer. It would be like, no, straight away. And now it's come to light that there may be another reason why. Let's just say there were delays in arriving at the final decision to do the right thing. So there's a couple of points here I'd like to raise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whiz myself in, as usual. We'll have a look at this headline, and then there's a second thing as well, which I find interesting, and I hope that you do too. But we'll just have a look at this. So yeah, let me see you down there in the corner. Right, yeah, this is a story that involves Gianni Infantino, who is the head of FIFA. Effectively, he runs world football, the most important man in the game. He has got, and continues to have, by all accounts, a worryingly close relationship with Vladimir Putin. And the former FA chairman, David Bernstein, as you can see from this headline, has said that and suggested that the relationship is actually too close. So let's look at the headline here. Their relationship is just too close. Former FA chairman David Bernstein takes aim at FIFA chief Gianni Infantino for delay over barring Russia from the World Cup and raises concerns over links to Vladimir Putin's regime. So the FIFA have now, a week after they should have done, barred Russia from competing. But it's now starting to stink a little bit of nepotism, an old boys network, because the relationship between the two of them was very, very close. And one wonders, if one was to look at the financials, if it wasn't a little bit too close. But in depth here. Former Football Association David Bernstein has criticised Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, over his organisation's delays in barring Russia from the World Cup following their invasion of Ukraine last week. Now, FIFA were branded an absolute disgrace. Certainly I did. If you've been following this story with the channel, you'll know that I've been ranting about the very fact that they weren't thrown out on day one. So FIFA were branded an absolute disgrace for initially failing to throw Russia out of the tournament, with the governing body having announced sanctions but stopping short of an outright ban in an eyebrow-raising decision. Yes, many, many eyebrows were raised, to the point of astonishment, in fact. Russia were even allowed to compete under the name Football Union of Russia. Whatever that is, that's a way around a rule, I suppose. But you've got to keep your rich chum happy. But the pressure quickly ramped up on FIFA to impose a more fitting punishment as the bloodshed in Eastern Europe continues, and they duly relented when finally announcing the decision to kick the country out of the showpiece event. Yeah, because even they felt it had gone too far and they couldn't cover up what is, I think, is bordering on blatant corruption in the top levels of football here. Possibly, allegedly. But they have now been thrown out. But despite the U-turn, Bernstein has been left underwhelmed by the speed at which FIFA have acted, and he believes Infantino's close ties with the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, have only exacerbated the situation. And there's pictures of Putin. You've seen some in the opening montage. and it's there. Now, the IOC, International Olympic Committee, has been very slow in its dealings with certain countries, and certainly with Russia. I don't know whether I'd use the term fit for purpose or not, but it's not where it should be. There are now a lot of organisations trying to rush through their validations and show that they mean what they say, and it's not too late to show that we're not completely oblivious to what's going on in the world, nor are we too greedy to hand back the money. Stand for the right thing. But Russia now find themselves in sporting wilderness with their athletes and national teams barred from international competitions with immediate effect. That's all Russia. It's not just the national team, it's the club teams, the women's teams, even down at low levels. They've just completely wiped. They're not being recognised until further notice at any level by FIFA and UEFA, which is how it should be. Now, this picture is interesting. This is Putin and Infantino. And Infantino, as you may have seen again in the opening montage, was given a medal by Putin. This is the Order of Friendship in 2019. It's a very nice medal, I suppose. You might wear it if you were, sad enough to want to wear your tin. But one has to ask if he's still wearing it. And indeed, someone has. I'm going to flick over here. Here's a thread. It's from Rob Harris on Twitter. Gianni Infantino dodges question on Zoom about if he is keeping the Order of Friendship medal given to him by Vladimir Putin, and FIFA silences media to prevent follow-ups when he doesn't answer. So he's there in a Zoom meeting with the press, and a member of the press asks him if he'll be returning or disposing of his Order of Friendship medal. He doesn't answer. Waffle. And then FIFA turn off the mics because they don't want anyone else asking awkward questions of a senior FIFA official. I actually think very awkward questions need to be asked, Mr. Infantino. You represent football. If you keep that medal, you're saying that what you do, what you think about what's going on, is very much aligned to your chum, Mr. Putin. And if your view is that Putin is doing the right thing, I think that brings the whole of football into disrepute. I think you should resign immediately. But I bet you don't. Because that would take honour and bravery. And you strike me as someone who has neither. Anyway, I draw this matter to a close. I'll go back up and we'll round off this video. So there you have it. If there was any reason for any delay in throwing Russia out of the World Cup, it appears we've found it. Gianni Infantino being very, very close to his best chum, Mr. Putin. Close enough, in fact, that he was happy to accept, and it appears retain, a medal. No indication of whether he's going to dispose of it or return it. And of course, it kind of stinks that they silenced the press when the press was starting to ask awkward questions. That's the press's job. If you hadn't done things worthy of these questions, the questions wouldn't be asked. Don't blame the press for uncovering the nasty, sordid little truth about yourselves. Anyway, there we go. As I say, that'll be a veil on this particular subject. I think it's gone on too long. We'll look at other things. But if you like what you see and hear on the channel, please hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. Ring the bell for further notifications on new content being released. Leave a like and leave a comment. We like the comments, like to read them. And if you could share, that would be super. The channel's growing nicely, thanks to the good people such as yourselves. We'd like to continue that apace. So, but until next time, stay safe, stay well, Goodbye.